two-car crash. Watch for some slowing there.
Is this the tackle?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's Major League Baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers beat Colorado 8-1. 6 RBIs for third baseman Max Muncy, including a grand slam in the 7th inning. The Dodgers wrap up their 3-game series at Colorado today with a day game. The Angels completed a 3-game sweep over Boston with a 5-2 win. At 40-40, the Angels are at 500 for the first time since May 23rd. The Angels are off today. They're at home Friday night against Washington. The Lakers had no first-round pick last night in the NBA draft. They gave it to New Orleans in 2019 in the trade to get Anthony Davis. The Lakers have the number 55 pick in tonight's second round. The Clippers had the last pick in the first round at number 30. They used it to select Yannick Conan Niederhauser, a 7-foot center from Penn State. Niederhauser grew up in Switzerland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Escape to poolside paradise at MGM Resorts in Las Vegas. Sip on a refreshing cocktail. Lounge in a luxury cabana. Earn on non-stop fun with MGM Rewards. Book a sizzling summer escape today. Visit MGMRewards.com for details.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and a theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone who fulfilled my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all.
That voice.
It's easy to achieve.
We've been playing the best of Whitney Houston all 3 hours of our program today as we continue our celebration of June. As Black Music Month, we choose a different artist of the day and weave and bob out of these conversations with great guests. like Leonard Pitts Jr. playing the best of Whitney Houston, and ain't nobody like her. As I said earlier, I still miss Whitney Houston. Funny story. I don't know if I ever told you guys this story. When I started on BET years ago, it was in 1996, I think, when I started on BET. BET decided they wanted to do a late night show, and they didn't know who they wanted to host it. So there were a bunch of people who they had on the docket to try out 1 week at a time to host that show. I'll give you the short version. Nobody wanted to go first. BET called me and said, "Will you go first?" I said, sure, why not? My motto is, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. I went first, and the rest is history. Nobody on the list ever got a chance to do their 1 week audition. I went the first week, and again, nobody else got a chance. BET hired me, and for 5 years, I held it down on BET. As it turns out, the very first night of my very first show, on that audition week, my guest on night one was Whitney Houston. Over the weekend, that's a Monday night, that prior Friday, a few days earlier, Tupac passed away in Las Vegas. You recall the shooting. He was in the hospital for a while. He died on Friday, the 13th of September, which is my birthday, the 13th of September. And Whitney Houston, who was my scheduled guest on Monday night, understood we had to do Tupac. This is BET, right? So we got to do Tupac. On Monday night, the first night of this new show, Whitney agreed to come back on the program later. I kid you not, from that night forward, for decades of my career, I never rebooked Whitney Houston. I had her on the very first night of my first ever national TV show, and I never got her back. We tried mightily. Every time she had a new project out, she was on tour. We couldn't get the dates together. And one day I was walking into a party, as I recall, a birthday party that Magic was hosting for his wife, Cookie. One of Cookie's either 40th or 50th birthday party, a big birthday party for Cookie. Magic had hired Frankie Beverly and Mays to be the entertainment. And I'm walking in. And as I'm walking in, Bobby and Whitney are walking out. And Whitney and Bobby and I, we lock eyes, and I can see Whitney's lips mouthing, "There's Tavis Smiley." And I just sunk because I had not met Whitney Houston as yet. We kept trying to get this date together, but I saw her mouth, "There's Tavis Smiley," and I just melted and went to tears. And I ran down that hallway to see Whitney Houston. I hugged her and Bobby, and we talked for a while. And I saw her a few times, of course, thereafter, but never, ever got that interview with Whitney Houston after having to cancel her on the very first night of my very first national talk show. That's my Whitney Houston story, but I still love her all these years later. Okay, enough of that. When we come forward, I'm going to cut Leonard Pitts Jr. loose for the rest of the hour. Leonard, I'm going to tell you right now what I want to ask to give you a couple minutes to think about it while we step aside here. Everybody knows that you're the GOAT. You wrote brilliantly. I said earlier in today's program, nobody turns a phrase like Leonard Pitts Jr., then or now. Now he's writing best-selling novels, but for so long, writing, of course, for the Miami Herald with his column that for me and many others was must-read copy. He retired from that, as I said now, to write these novels, and he's the director of the Center for Urban Journalism at Morgan State University. So he stepped away from writing his regular column, but I am anxious to know in this moment, if he were writing columns right now, what 2 or 3 things is he itching to write about? I know he's done some Substack stuff, but if he were writing his column, what's happening right now? Is it Iran? Is it Trump? What is it? What's happening? Is it these ice raids? What's happening right now that Leonard Pitts would be itching to write about where he's still doing his Pulitzer Prize-winning column? That's where we'll start, Leonard. I don't normally do that, but I cheated and gave you a roadmap where I want to go, so get your mind right, sir. When we come forward for the rest of the hour, it's the Pulitzer Prize winner, Leonard Pitts Jr. on Tavis Smiley.
They take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside.
California to the Carolinas. Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Time is up. The IRS is in full collection mode for 2025, issuing liens, levies, and garnishments to anyone who has a past tax debt or unfiled tax returns. Don't wait till it's too late. Your paycheck and bank accounts are at risk of being seized. Call now and stop the collection process today. If you're living check to check, no matter how much you're making, you still may qualify for the Fresh Start programs offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. It's just a 5-minute call to get your options, and it's free. If you owe back taxes, have years of unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to sleep better, business or personal, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief while there's still time. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and tough. This veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. The call is free. Call their hotline number now, 800-259-4546. That's 800-259-4546. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-259-4546 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Where do I go when there's nobody else to turn to? Who do I talk to when nobody wants to listen? Who do I lean on when there's no foundation stable? I go to the rock. I go to the rock. I know he's there. Say, well, I go to the rock.
I go to the rock. I go to the rock. It's Whitney Houston on Tavis Smiley. All 3 hours of our show today as we continue our celebration of June. It's Black Music Month. And I love Whitney. She ain't quite Aretha. Aretha could do it all. I mean, all of it. But Whitney's a close second in terms of being able to do all of it. Of course, she comes out of that church in Newark, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey. That the state of New Jersey is her home state, of course, and she has just acquitted herself well all these years later with the music that is the soundtrack of our lives. We celebrate Whitney Houston, all 3 hours of our program today. Love that track from The Preacher's Wife. What a great film. Whitney and Courtney and Denzel, just a great cast. Anyway, Leonard Pitts Jr. is our guest in this hour. I appreciate his patience as we set this hour up. Leonard, it's all you the rest of the hour, sir. So I said a moment ago, as you know, that I miss your writing on the regular at the Miami Herald, and it's in moments like these, grim moments where we're wrestling with the night side of America that I wish I could turn to you as often as I did before. So tell me, what would you be itching to write about now? Take it anywhere you want, as long as you want, and I will follow you for the rest of the hour, sir.
Well, I'll tell you like that. Before you went to the commercial deck, you said you wanted 3 things, and while we were in the commercial, I made a list, and I'll give you the list, and you can tell me which one you want to expound on.
I want to expound on all. I want to expound on all of them. So, but give me the list anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm greedy, man. I got Leonard Pitts Jr. for an hour. I want it all. Brand new socks and drawers. Go, Leonard Pitts. Give it to me.
Well, you got about the number one is this ongoing theft of African American history, which continues to infuriate me. It's not a new thing. The second is this whole situation with ICE. I'm beginning to wonder if some of our Latino brothers and sisters who didn't realize that they were a, racial minority, and with all the baggage that term carries, are beginning to realize that. Mm-hmm. And third, just me personally, I'm beginning to wonder if the majority of white Americans in this country can be saved, can be weaned from the whole idea of racial superiority. That's what I've been thinking about a lot these last few days.
So I feel like I'm Alex Trebek with a Jeopardy board behind me.
So where do you want to go?
Yeah,
you tell me.
I'm gonna start with ICE raids for 500, Leonard.
Okay. Here's the thing. A lot of us tend not to view Latino people the way I think they view themselves. And I've been educated on this by a number of my Latino friends. As you know, I've got a lot of connections in Miami, and Miami is not just Cuban, but basically all of, South America sort of congregates in Miami. And I've been told by many of them that, you see us as Latino, but we don't necessarily see ourselves as having, if I'm Cuban, I don't necessarily see myself as having anything in common with, somebody from Nicaragua or Argentina or Bolivia or Colombia or whatever. I'm more interested in Cuban issues. And I don't think they really understand the degree to which, maybe they haven't understood until this moment, the degree to which that doesn't matter in the whole American racial paradigm. I think in the American racial paradigm, if your heritage traces to a nation where they speak Spanish and your skin is brown, then they don't much care, where on the map your folks hail from. You all get the same treatment. I think that's what we're beginning to see, or what we're seeing in these ICE raids, which are really just the most demoralizing and frightening and troubling thing that I've seen in a very, very long time, but which again were wholly to be expected. And one of the things that is heartbreaking, in another context, it would almost be funny, but it's just heartbreaking, is all these videos that one sees online these days from Latinos who voted for Trump, but quote, I never knew this was going to happen. Because it's like, did you not realize, did you assume that he was going after those other Latinos? One person said, I thought he was only going after the criminals. No, sir. Criminal is defined as Spanish accent and brown skin.
That's right. That is right.
I don't think a lot of my Latino sisters and brothers really quite understood that. They, when about 4 or 5 years after 9/11, I was in Dearborn, Michigan, which is a heavily Muslim enclave, and I was speaking at an event there. And me and his Muslim brother got into conversation. And he was saying that, how stunned his community was by the rise of the Islamophobia. And he said something that has always stayed with me. We thought we were white. In other words, we thought that, that the American assimilation process has happened for so many people and has made them, quote unquote, white. It made the Italians white. It made the Irish white. It made the Jews white, although now they seem to be trying to take that back. We're saying that. That's a whole nother thing. But the assimilation process has made so many Americans, or so many people who've come here from other places or other cultures, has made them white. And the Muslims spent most of those years discovering that maybe they weren't white anymore, or that whiteness was something that was being withheld from them now because of what happened, with a few of their co-religionists on September 11th. And I think the same thing is now beginning to happen with Latino brothers and sisters, that they're beginning to see that, any whiteness that you had or thought you had was only on consignment.
I told you, can't nobody turn a phrase like Leonard Pitts Jr. The whiteness you thought you had was only on consignment. Somebody meme that. Somebody meme that right now. The whiteness you thought you had was only on consignment. I've asked this question of others, Leonard Pitts Jr., but not you. I'm going to hold on to that phrase for a while. The whiteness you thought you had was only on consignment. Lord Jesus. Okay, so I've talked to others about this again, but not you, Leonard. There are those, and let me frame this. We are waiting at the moment for a number of decisions by SCOTUS. It's that time of year. It's June. Supreme Court about to take their summer recess, and all these decisions, these rulings they've heard in these cases they've heard in this term. These rulings are starting to come out every day. You see them, in the news, and we've been talking about them as they come out as fast as we can keep up with them on this program. So we're still waiting for the birthright citizenship decision. That one, of course, has not dropped as yet. Could drop tomorrow, who knows? But we're waiting on that decision. I raise that only because, as you know, at the epicenter of that is the 14th Amendment. And you know the conversation. The 14th Amendment was really about the children of slaves, so that we could become citizens. And so there are a lot of black folk wrestling with whether or not this issue of these ICE raids, etc., is really our issue. Again, I've asked this of others, but not you. How would you respond to the question whether or not this is as in black folk, whether this is our issue?
I stand with anybody who is being oppressed, marginalized, bullied, or pushed around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So yeah, it's my issue. Yeah. Dr. King said, I've fought too long and hard against segregation in public facilities to segregate my moral concerns. And my feeling is, if I'm only concerned about oppression when it affects people who look like me, then that's only self-interest. That's narrow self-interest. That's not moral. That's me acting in my self-interest. I'm concerned about oppression when it touches anybody. And so the ICE raids are definitely quote unquote my issue in the sense that that I'm a human being. I'm a human being who happens to be African American, but I'm a human being. I'm an American human being with a functioning heart and conscience and some bit of compassion. So yes, it most definitely impacts me. I had a student, who was undocumented. And I was just scared to death for this person. I didn't want to mention gender, but I was so scared to death for this person for what they were going through. In this era, it's just insane. I could hardly teach class some days because I'm thinking about, what if I don't see this person, next class time? What's happening? What's going on? This is absolutely, utterly insane.
Let me go back to the big board, and I'm now going to choose the theft of Black history for 750. Leonard Pitts.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is sort of the ongoing thing. We live in this society that is designed to design for the ultimate comfort of white folk. And white folk, it's hard for them to be comfortable if they are required to deal morally with the crimes that were committed in their names, the crimes that were committed to create and to prop up whiteness itself. And so, we're seeing that, it's not news at this point. We're seeing all of these campaigns and crusades to ban books, to stop the teaching of difficult history. And there was a story in the Miami Herald on this some months ago, and I'm blanking on the name of the gentleman who's a professor there, but he started teaching free classes under a tree on the campus of Florida International University, I believe it was. And, just whoever wants to come out Saturday morning. And, I'm a professor of history and I'll teach you about African-American history. And I think we're almost to that point where we need to be a do-it-yourself society, because they're not the schools, which it's their job to do it. Mm-hmm. They are not going to do this. They are not going to teach this, because to teach African American history is to indict and to call into question all of the things, the mythology that we live by, all the things that we've been told that supposedly make America America. You can't continue to believe those myths and understand the history. Those two things are at odds. They're at cross purposes. So, I understand why people have trouble with that history, but I've always believed in the truth. I want to know the truth. Mm-hmm. I want to know what happened.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. What happened? What had happened was. Yeah.
What had happened was. I want to know.
Yeah.
And it's being denied. It's being crucified, and it's being we're being spoon fed something else entirely. There's a professor, Donald Spivey. I don't know if I've told you this quote from him, but I love it. He says that what we're doing now is, usually it's about speaking truth to power, mm-hmm. but when it comes to African American history, people are speaking power to truth. Ooh. Yeah, I know. I love that quote. I wish I could take credit for it. It's Dr. Donald Spivey, I believe, University of Miami. Yeah. But he said we're living in a society now where they're speaking power to truth. In other words, they're using their power to try to shut up the truth. Mm. So I think that as African Americans and as anybody who is concerned about this, we need to be. It needs to become a do-it-yourself thing. Yeah. Not to do a commercial or anything, but I'm on the board of a blackpast.org, which is an African and African American online encyclopedia. Mm-hmm. And I think we need more. We need that, and we need more do-it-yourself efforts. It's not a university effort. It's not a big business effort. It's an effort that a professor founded some years ago as a nonprofit. Yeah. We need that kind of stuff, because we can't trust it's too important, and we can't trust it in the hands of those who supposedly should be handling it.
I started this hour by asking Leonard Pitts Jr., the brilliant Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and now director of the Center for Urban Journalism at Morgan State University, writer of any number of best-selling novels. I started this hour, in case you've just tuned in, asking him, were he still writing his column for the Miami Herald, what would he be itching to write about right now? He gave me three things. One was these ICE raids. We've talked about that. Two was the theft of Black history. We've talked about that. When we come forward, indeed, I do want to ask him one follow-up question, given what he just said, in a moment, and that is to get his read on what the condition of truth is right now in our society. What is the condition of truth right now in this society, as Leonard Pitts Jr. sees it? And then there's one other item on the big board that I'll go back to. I saved this for last. Can the good white folk be saved right about now? That's the question. Can the good white folk be saved right now? I cannot wait to hear Leonard Pitts Jr. unpack that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Black New Jersey Congresswoman LaMonica McIver has pleaded not guilty to federal charges of assaulting ICE agents during a protest-filled visit to a Newark detention center.
But we look forward to the next time in court. We're going to take this all the way through. They know they're wrong, and we're going to prove them wrong because the facts are on our side.
She says the charges are political and vows to fight them. Her trial is set for November 10th. Taylor Toronto, convicted of threatening a government site and illegal gun possession near the Obama's D.C. home, is seeking a new trial. His lawyers argue D.C.'s gun laws are unconstitutional under recent Supreme Court rulings. Sentencing is set for August 26th. And closing arguments begin today in Sean Diddy Combs' federal sex trafficking trial. Prosecutors dropped some charges but are pressing ahead with racketeering and trafficking claims. Combs, who didn't testify, has pleaded not guilty and faces up to life in prison if convicted. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's Major League Baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers beat Colorado 8-1. 6 RBIs for third baseman Max Muncy, including a grand slam in the 7th inning. The Dodgers wrap up their 3-game series at Colorado today with a day game. The Angels completed a 3-game sweep over Boston with a 5-2 win. At 40-40, the Angels are at 500 for the first time since May 23rd. The Angels are off today. They're at home Friday night against Washington. The Lakers had no first-round pick last night in the NBA draft. They gave it to New Orleans in 2019 in the trade to get Anthony Davis. The Lakers have the number 55 pick in tonight's second round. The Clippers had the last pick in the first round at number 30. They used it to select Yannick Conan Niederhauser, a 7-foot center from Penn State. Niederhauser grew up in Switzerland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
BET and PBS, the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley. Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
If I should stay, I would only be in your way, so I'll go. But I know I'll think of you every step of the way. And I will always love you. That is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye. Please don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need. And I will always love you.
I wish I had the time to let Whitney crescendo on this thing and take us to church as she does at the end of this track. I don't have that kind of time. And plus, you've heard it more times than I can count anyway. So you can pull it up later on Spotify or wherever you listen to your music. And now that I've teased you with it, hear the rest of it. But she does go to church on this track at the very end. But Whitney had a way of doing that, coming out of the chocolate church. She put all of that on everything she did. And so we've been celebrating Whitney Houston all 3 hours today of our program as we continue our celebration of June as Black Music Month. Different artists every day. And today, thankfully, for all of us, I think it has been Whitney Houston. Our guest in this hour is the Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and director of the Center for Urban Journalism at Morgan State University in Baltimore City, Leonard Pitts Jr. Honored to have him back on this program. In case you've just tuned in, I started this hour lamenting how much I miss Leonard Pitts Jr.'s writing every day. Not every day, but his regular column in the Miami Herald. As I said 2 or 3 times, I repeat, nobody turns a phrase like Leonard Pitts Jr. He's done it 2 or 3 times already in this conversation. Got me making notes and writing lines down that somebody ought to mean, as I said earlier. But I asked him at the outset of this conversation at the very top what 3 things he would be itching to write about were he still doing his column in the Miami Herald. He mentioned the ICE raids, and he opined on that quite eloquently, as he always does. He talked about the theft of Black history, and he delved into that quite beautifully. And so the third issue that he raised that I left on the board as the last, to give him all the space he needs to unpack this, is this question, this notion of whether or not the good white folk in this moment can be saved. Take it away, Leonard Pitts Jr.
You know, I was scared you were going to ask me about this because it's going to require me to talk about some stuff that I haven't talked about very much publicly. At least I don't think. Let me begin by saying that my wife and I will be in Costa Rica in 2 months. We're on what's called a relocation tour. And it's for people who are seriously thinking about leaving this country and relocating elsewhere. In this case, obviously, again, Costa Rica. And it's funny because every time that I mention that to somebody, just in family, church, whatever, somebody else comes up and says they are doing or are thinking of doing or wanting to do the same thing to leave the country. And I'm kind of torn about my own leanings toward this, my own decision toward this. Because I keep saying, well, it feels like I'm giving up on America, and it's only in the last 2 weeks that I've come to realize that that's not what I'm giving up on. America is in a very difficult moment right now, a very challenging moment, and I'm not saying that the country will come out of this and be all right. But knowing this country as I do, I can't say that it won't either. It's kind of a toss up to me. Reinvention and redemption are sort of in America's DNA. So it is entirely possible that we will once again embrace the rule of law and come to our senses in terms of who we choose to represent us and so forth and so on. So it's not so much America that I feel like I'm giving up on. What I'm giving up on, and this is painful for me because I'm an optimist at heart, but what I'm giving up on, I think, is the idea that the majority of white Americans in this country will ever embrace the idea of a multicultural democracy, that they will ever live up to the ideal that we all claim to believe. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, et cetera, and et cetera. And I come to that, and I by dint of this, the fact that in the last 3 presidential elections, all of which have featured our current president, the majority of white folk have voted for the current president, have voted Republican. And I say, okay, the first election, maybe you were bamboozled, maybe you made a bad choice, maybe you made a bad mistake. The second election And then more importantly, the third election after the January 6th insurrection, you're telling me something. You didn't make a mistake. This was not a mistake. This was not, oops. This was not, I didn't know. This was a choice. You chose the guy, and don't tell me about the price of eggs. Please don't talk to me about the price of eggs, because you don't care. What you're telling me is that you want the guy who will keep the black and the brown folk in line. That is, that is his entire appeal. They've got the studies, to prove it, which is why every time a journalist or somebody talks about, oh, well, he's speaking for the marginalized and this, that, and the other. No, go look at the studies. Go and look at the research that has been done by people who actually get paid to know this stuff. And they will tell you that Donald Trump's appeal has been primarily, the engine of his appeal has been primarily his antipathy toward black and brown people. That's where it comes from. The folk who participated in the January 6th insurrection were statistically more likely to come from counties where where white people are becoming minority. Statistically more likely it was a predictor of who was going to participate in this, and on and on and on, more and more studies. So I've come to the sad and reluctant conclusion that most, and I say most, because I know too many white folk who I consider my sisters and brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
who are good people, who I know to be good people. So I don't mean to include them in this, but by the same token, if you look at the voting pattern, if you look at who voted for what we now have, it becomes pretty apparent that the majority of white folk, this is what they wanted. This is what, and that breaks my heart to think that. It breaks my heart to have to say it. But this is what they wanted. And I'm saying to myself, okay, the country may resolve itself and may get back to the rule of law and some form or some semblance of sanity. But if you're telling me that you voted for this guy once, twice, 3 times, what you're telling me is that you are never going to accept this whole American ideal. You'll give lip service to it, yes, but you're never going to accept the American ideal of a multicultural democracy, all created equal, sharing power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, if that's the case, then, what are we doing here?
There are a few thoughts bouncing around in my head, Leonard Pitts Jr. When we come forward, I'm going to try to straighten this out and turn it into a complete sentence with a subject and a verb, because again, they're bouncing in my head so swiftly. But I think what is hitting me hardest, what's resonating with me most about the way you have laid this out quite eloquently, as you always do, is what it says, what your relocation consideration, at least, what your relocation consideration says about your faith in humanity. I'm going to move beyond the politics that they voted for this guy 3 times. That's a powerful point. But what does the relocation consideration say about your faith in humanity, at least in the humanity of these folk who are fellow citizens in the United States of America? Leonard Pitts Jr.'s name may be added to a long list of notables, including Du Bois, who went to Ghana, Baldwin, who went to France, more recently, Randall Robinson, who founded Trans-Africa, went to St. Kitts. There are other notables I could give, names I could offer. Not to mention the everyday black folk who are expats all around the world right now, who have made the decision that Leonard and his wife are considering making about relocation. But what does that say specifically about Leonard Pitts's faith in humanity? I want to go there, and we'll see what happens after that. But that's where I know I want to go when we come forward with Leonard Pitts Jr. on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080. We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Leonard Pitts Jr. My time is getting tight. I want to give Leonard some time to just unpack this right quick here. What does this relocation consideration say to us, Leonard, listening across the country right now, about your faith in humanity?
It's hard for me to say what it says. And I should say that, you're the first person, this is the first format or forum in which I've even verbalized this. This is something I've been sort of wrestling with for the last couple of weeks, at least the aspect of it that I shared with you. I have ultimate faith, I think, in the ability of human beings to be human beings, to do the right things. But I also have enough understanding of American history and sort of this moment in which we lived to know that people are baked a certain way. People are taught certain things. In this country, if you're white, there are certain things that you are taught about your place, about your role, and about other people's roles in relationship to that. And that stuff, that programming is hard, hard to shake off. And, to their credit, a lot of folk have tried to shake that off, but now along comes another situation where, they are, instead of being encouraged to shake that off, they are encouraged to think of it as something righteous and something, something noble. And I don't see those folk, overcoming that programming. I don't see them wanting to do that, which again is a very difficult thing for me to have to deal with. What do you think it says about my faith in human nature, Tavis?
It's a very good question, and I don't mind you turning the tables. I've been marinating on that since you shared this notion, this story about your relocation consideration, and I don't know what it says from your perspective. So let me try not to get in your heart, in your head. Let me just give you my assessment. And I'm looking at my clocks. I'll hold that. I will answer Leonard Pitts Jr.'s question. I'm not running from it. Happy to answer it when we come forward in our remaining moments with him. I'll tell you what it says to me about our faith or lack thereof in humanity, at least the humanity of the folk in this country. We'll do that in a moment on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say, when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Leonard Pitts Jr. So Leonard turned the tables on me a moment ago and asked me what I thought his relocation consideration says about his faith in humanity. And we hit a nerve in this conversation, Leonard. I love that. People all across the country are commenting and sending thoughts about this dialogue we've been having. So let me just, I'm fascinated. Utterly fascinated by this particular comment, because I think it sums up what I want to say in my answer to you, but I'm going to borrow it from one of our listeners. Tavis, I think if Mr. Pitts is, Tavis, I think if Mr. Pitts' faith in humanity was the issue, then he would just slit his wrist. But clearly, he does have faith in humanity. Clearly, he does have faith in humanity. As I hear him, it's more an indictment of America, not humanity, which he said a moment ago when he talked about the way people are baked. Clearly, Tavis, he thinks there are better human beings in the world, and his choice, and that of his wife, may be to move in with them. As I hear his opinion, it may be to simply be around those folks. It's the old celebrate versus tolerate frame. Celebrate versus tolerate. I think that's my sentiment in answer to your question, if that makes sense, Leonard Pitts Jr.
Whatever that person said, I mean, whoever that person is, yeah, what they said, yes.
Yeah.
That's very, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at.
No, and you did. You got at it. I think, obviously the audience got it because they're spitting it back to me in the way that you intended it to go forward, and to go forth. So they got it. And I think that's right. I think that I don't think that Du Bois. I mean, and here's the bottom line. Just to be more base about it. Anywhere you go on the planet, you're around human beings. So clearly, one doesn't give up one's faith in humanity and the possibilities. Because again, you just slit your wrist, put a gun to your head. If you think human beings are just fundamentally flawed and we can't ever get it right, you just kill yourself, right, and get off the planet. Right. But if you decide that America needs to be indicted and that America needs to have a reckoning, and you can feel more welcome in some other part of the globe because those people aren't wrestling with the same sort of backstory and history that we're wrestling with. We're not even wrestling with, trying to deny it is the point that Leonard made earlier. We don't even want to wrestle with it. We want to deny it. So you're around human beings anywhere. So I don't think, as I'm noodling this, I don't think Du Bois gave up on humanity. He just gave up on America. He said, I'm going to Ghana. I don't think I don't think Baldwin gave up on humanity. He just says I'm giving up on these Americans. I don't think Randall Robinson gave up on America. I mean, so you take my point. So I think I get it now. I think the audience gets it. That it's not so much, thinking that humanity is just going to hell in a handbasket per se. Although there is some evidence of that, I do believe. I do believe I do believe, though, very quickly. My time is getting away. I do believe that we are experiencing, Leonard Pitts Jr., how might I put it, the decay of our civilization and the devolution of our culture. I think those things are as real as rain. The decay of our civilization, the devolution of our culture. In 30 seconds, would you agree with that at least?
I would agree with that. Without question. My thing is that I don't even think I'm giving up on America, because to me, America is an ideal. We hold these truths to be self-evident, etc.
Right.
What I'm giving up on is certain folks' willingness to redeem that.
Yeah. I got just a tight, very, very tight 30 seconds here. I asked earlier, we didn't get a chance to respond. You didn't get a chance to respond. What is the condition of truth right now? Is truth on life support in America?
Truth is circling the drain, my brother.
This, I tell you all the time, this is why I love Leonard Pitts Jr. Nobody turns a phrase like this, Negro. Truth is circling the drain. I repeat, somebody meme that right now and give attribution to Leonard Pitts Jr., Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist, best-selling novelist,